So today I'm going to do a really quick how I draw eyes tutorial that no one asked for and no one really wanted. I'm gonna do it anyways. So to start out, I'm gonna create a new file, I guess. For the sake of this, I won't make it like too big because it does impact.
FYI, I accidentally switched to the basic Suica model. Oops.
Sketch type of eye I want. Do this elevator music while I do that. Okay, so you did see me struggle a little bit there, but I overall got the shape I wanted down. Now, onto how I actually...
The moment I realize...
Okay. So anyways, onto how I actually get this done. The first step that I usually start with, and you obviously don't have to, is the eye whites. Normally I will just choose a white color, but in the case where it's a darker image or perhaps I'm gonna have dynamic lighting, I will choose a gray color on the warm side. So this is a gray color, and this is what I consider a gray color on the warm side. For the sake of this tutorial though, we're just gonna go with plain old white. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it covers the area that you need. I'm also gonna grab my blend or blur and just do that area, that open area, so that it doesn't have any rough edges, because I personally don't like rough edges, but if you do, that's totally fine and you can keep them. So I start out after doing the eye whites by coloring the base color of the eyeball itself. If it's blue, and let's imagine I want it to be, oops, what layer am I on? Okay, I'm on the wrong layer. Let's imagine that's kind of the blue that I'm going for. I personally don't like to make it as vibrant, so I'm gonna make the base color a more dull version of that blue. Now that I have our base color down, I'm going to start by creating the shadow on the actual iris itself. I do that by choosing a darker color, so I think that would be good enough. And I'm going to create an arc. It doesn't have to be perfect. I never try to strive for perfection, especially because I try to look at the bigger picture, what the overall image is going to look like versus just what's in front of me and that small detail. So that's kind of what we got, and now that I'm looking at it, it's not dark enough, so I'm going to go ahead and make it this color. So something that I do when I am coloring in the base color is I lock the base color so that it doesn't go outside of this area. If I unlock it, you can't take it outside. So that's just because I'm horrible at coloring within the lines. And now that we have that done, the next step that I usually go on to is I get a slightly darker color and I put it around the edges, and it doesn't have to be any shape in general. I just try to get some depth by adding 2 different shades to that area and like outline our arc with that color if I'm feeling up to it. I don't always do this. So on to the next step that I usually do is I will grab this color again, this one, and I will create lines on another layer. So I'm going to go on another layer and I'm going to create lines. Generally, when you're doing like something like semi-realism, you will be drawing in eye details like these lines, but perfect. But because this is kind of anime, I focus on just doing them however I like, and I do use the erase tool to with a soft erase tool just to slightly erase them. So sometimes I'll keep them like that, but since I don't like it like that, I'm going to make them thicker lines. And I'll create something more bubbly. Again, erase tool, the softer, and I'm just going to clean some of it. And I'll also mess with the opacity so that it is at an opacity I like. I do think I like it right here. I'm gonna blend or merge that layer, so now it's all one layer. From here, my next step is usually to add a lighter shade to the eyes. And I'm gonna go with this one. And I'll create an oval at the bottom for the lighter color. Now what I will do is we're going to do the pupil. I don't like doing the pupil as a full black, so I'm going to choose a darker shade. So what I did here is I grabbed this shade and I found a color that's darker a bit. And I'm going to create another layer on top of this layer and create an oval. The reason why I'm creating another layer on top is so that I can move it around to wherever I like it. In this case, the oval does not look right, so I'm going to fix that real quick. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this layer so that I don't draw outside of it. I'm going to grab a slightly lighter color than the oval itself. Make an oval within an oval, just like that. From here, what I'm going to do is go on top of our liner layer. I'm going to grab this color, the darkest color we've used so far, and I'm going to re-outline the eyes. And I'm going to add some depth to this by using the black shade. I'm sort of trying to blend it in. And this lighter shade, and just again, trying to blend it in. Next step I will usually do is add the highlights, but we're not anywhere near done yet, which is a little bit ironic, because I said this would be quick and easy, I think. I'm going to create a layer on top of this one. I'm going to create a diamond shape on top of our pupil. Again, doesn't need to be perfect. This is going to be my first highlight. I'm also going to create two more. Normally I'll do them on top like this, which also I think looks nice, or sometimes I'll even do them at the bottom like this. I do think for this I like them more on the top, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I also like to add one highlight here, just a circle. Sometimes I'll even add like a highlight here, but not always. For the sake of this, we're not going to. I'm going to create a layer under the highlights and choose a vibrant red, preferably just pure red. And I'm going to outline it a little. And I'm also going to grab a blue, also bright, and also add that to the outline. Not the entire thing, but just wherever. I don't usually like think too hard about my placement, which is probably not a great sign, but that's just how I do it. Now that that's done, I will go back to this layer, our base. I'm going to grab black again, go back to my round brush, and I'm going to create a triangle covering our highlights as such. And I'm also going to fan it out like that. Now to finish this off, I'm going to work on the actual line art that we have here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a shade that is reddish, but still close to skin tone. So maybe something like that. Or like that. Like that, yeah. I'm just going to add that to this end and this end, as such. and I use the airbrush to apply that. I'm going to choose a shade closer to the shadows of the skin tone, a little bit darker since I have a shadow down here, and I'm going to color in that like that. I actually prefer it more like that. I will grab the base color again, and I'm going to create a layer on top of our line art layer and clip it. And I'm going to follow the eye shape and create kind of an arc as such. And I'm going to fan out to the eyelashes as such. And it looks odd right now, but just trust the process because I am going to lower the opacity. And what I'm going to do to this, I'm going to use my blend tool and just blend out these edges. The last thing I will do is go back to our eye whites, and I'm going to grab, do you remember the gray color that's more in the warm tone that I was talking about earlier? This. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to create a shadow for the upper eyelid. While it's not perfect and I didn't do it as clean as I would for a proper piece, that is how I draw and paint my eyes. So thank you for watching, and I hope it was helpful, even though no one asked for it.